Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. It's your business to get a handle on your finances, and that's why we have Chris Kidd, who's a regular contributor on the program. He is the CEO and president of Chriskidd Enterprises. His website, chriskidd, KIDD.com. And frankly, I'm tired of saying the words Chris Kidd, so I'm going to go straight to our interview now. Great guest. He's been on the program before. I was going to ask you when you were going to get this guy back on. I'm looking forward to it. Tell us a little bit, though, about what Chriskidd Enterprises does. And by the way, he's coming up very soon, either this week or next week, on Price of Business TV show on the Biz TV network. We now have several shows, in the can, as we like to say. And you did a great job, by the way, on our television interview.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll answer your question now.
Yeah, go ahead. Hurry before you forget.
I'm a financial coach, and basically I help people with personal finance, investing, and entrepreneurship as far as getting a handle on investments and understanding how things work and being able to make better decisions and get more out of your money. Personal finance, getting out of debt and also making better money decisions. And then the entrepreneurship side is usually working with people who are trying to find a way to turn something that they're passionate about into some kind of profits. So my guest today, like you mentioned, I thought with a lot of stuff that's been going on, this is really good timing to have him back. We had him on last summer before a big mess happened, and I think it was right before that happened, or either right before or right after. I think it was before because his book had just come out. But Jay Peroni is my guest, a good friend of mine, and runs a pretty cool investment website called wallstreetrenegade.com. That's wallstrenegade.com. Good to have you back, Jay.
Good to be back, Chris. Yeah, great. Exciting times we're in today. So.
Jay, kind of give us an overview of what you do.
Yeah, I help investors kind of navigate these choppy markets using a combination of instruments, everything from stocks to bonds to exchange-traded funds and options. And I help people formulate a game plan. I do it for both do-it-yourself investors. We have subscription services for people trying to figure out what to do with their money. And then for people that say, hey, I want you to handle it for me, we also have money management services.
Very good. Go ahead there, Chris.
Yeah, Jay, speaking of turbulent times, that's one of the things I wanted to have you on about, because people who have been following the stock market recently, and ones who haven't been are now, because it's gotten really volatile just over the last I want to say over the course of the past month, like mid-December. You actually had written a book that we talked about earlier last year about the blood moons on Wall Street and how the stuff with the eclipses was tying in and everything. And we've been talking about a possible crash for, I would say, close to a year now from some stuff that we've been seeing. But what are some things that some people who are just kind of like the average investor out there that we deal with that really are trying to learn how this market works and how to be better investors, what are some things that they need to understand about the market, and what should they be thinking about right now with all this stuff going on?
Yeah. I mean, it's perfect timing. I wrote Blood Moons on Wall Street last year just because I saw a lot of what was starting to unfold. I obviously went through the last crash in 2008, and I was seeing some of the very same warning signs that I saw back in 2007 in the early stages before the last financial crisis hit. And that's really what prompted me to write Blood Moons on Wall Street, was helping people to formulate a game plan. How do you physically prepare? How do you spiritually prepare? And then how do you financially prepare for a crisis if it does unfold? And that is exactly what we're seeing. Back in August of last year was really kind of the preliminary warnings where we saw the markets drop very sharply, and then they recovered very quickly. Unfortunately, there was no good news. There was not a lot of data or economic statistics coming in to really back up that market coming back so quickly. And that's what you often see with these crashes, is the market will have kind of a short-term drop, and then it'll recover and go almost back to where it was, or maybe even a little bit higher, and then the real drop begins. And that's what I've been talking to my subscribers about is the fact that these markets are very dangerous right now because we have so much economic problems that are spreading quickly around the world. And a lot of people who haven't been paying attention don't realize that right now we have a major debt situation that was never fixed back in 2007 and 8, and it's just grown substantially since that time, and now everything is starting to come to a front here.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about, something that you've been talking about at your website, which again, wallstrenegade.com. You're talking about this global currency reset. What exactly is that, and what does that mean to the listener out there?
Yeah, basically what we're seeing right now is there is kind of a race to the bottom. Everybody's trying to devalue their currencies because everybody is swimming in debt. And instead of the last go-around back in '08 when everybody was about to default, rather than letting the system go through a natural reset where everybody lets, those who can't pay their debts default, they clean out all the garbage, and then we can go back to business as usual, rather than doing that, what we've seen is all these central banks around the world cutting interest rates to zero and even negative. Like in Europe, they've cut rates 4 times to negative interest rates. I mean, imagine that. You have to pay money to keep it at the bank. That's just crazy. Yeah. And so you've got these interest rate cuts that have taken place, and then you've got these central banks that keep printing more and more money, just devaluing their currencies, and then even promising to do more. And what's happened now is these central banks have just lost control of the system. So eventually what's going to end up happening is all of these currencies that we have, nobody's going to trust anyone anymore, and they're going to have to come up with some sort of new currency, whether it's a basket of currencies or, precious metals-backed currencies. There's going to be, at some point, a global reset where everybody's currencies are going to be valued based on what they bring to the table. That's my, kind of my opinion of what's going to happen over the next several years.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, Jay, like you said, with the market crashing like in August and then coming back and up and down up until, I guess, last month, a lot of people would think, well, goodness, either I'm going to be losing money or it's not going anywhere. But with Wall Street Renegade, at least with our options service, we've had a pretty good run as of late. And I know those subscribers have been pretty happy with some of this stuff provided there. What's the streak at now?
Yeah, we've had 24 winning trades in a row, and the interesting thing, Chris, is we go everywhere. We don't just look at the U.S. stock market. We look globally. We look at China. We look at the emerging markets, Russia, Brazil. We go all over the globe and look for opportunities because a lot of people don't realize that even if the stock market is going down, you can still make money by betting against the stock market. And you can use things like calls and puts, which are option trading strategies, and things like inverse ETFs that go the opposite direction of a market. So there are various instruments out there where you can actually make a lot of money in this type of market. And our option trader program has been very successful. Like I said, 24 straight winning trades going all the way back to November. We've had now going on our 4th month in a row of positive gains in every trade that we've made. Again, there'll be some losers along the way, but we've had a great streak so far.
Sounds like it. Again, talking to Jay Peroni. He is with Wall Street Renegade. That's wallstrenegade.com. Of course, Chris Kidd, he's a regular contributor on The Price of Business, talking about some really important investment strategies. Let me ask you, what are some of the values or principles that are a part of your approach to investing?
Yeah, the biggest thing is we don't just focus on the rate of return. Anybody can make money, looking at various things, but what we do in the mix that's different than a lot of other financial advisors or newsletter services is we look at not only the source of how we're making money, but what is the company or what is the organization behind that. So we're looking for companies that are improving our world and improving our society. So we screen out companies that don't line up with biblical values. Mm-hmm. And we have a set of screens that we use to screen out companies that aren't providing valuable services to this world. If they're doing harm to society, they're not going to make it through our moral screens. And then on top of that, we also add on financial screens. So it's kind of a dual approach where you get both investments that are morally and financially sound.
Yeah, basically the best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. The cream of the crop. And these are companies that we say that our clients can be proud to own. They're companies that, like I said, are improving our society, making a difference in the world, and not taking value away, from society.
Chris?
Well, Jay, we're coming down to the last couple minutes, but wanted to ask you, because I know a lot of listeners would be saying, well, this sounds, I'm not really a trader. I don't have time to trade in and out every day or this or that, and they may think that it's too much work. What I know you have like several portfolios for all kinds of different investors, from the option traders, from swing traders to people who are more conservative to the long term. Tell us a little bit about the different portfolios for different people.
Yeah, we have everything from conservative portfolios that are more dividend-paying types of stocks and things that can pay our subscribers income to more aggressive strategies for, like you said, the person looking to do short-term trades and maybe some option trades for more aggressive investors. Or so our programs vary from very conservative to very aggressive, and we have packages for each of these types of investors.
Yeah, very, very good. Got to wrap it up with that. Great interview as always. I think we've had him on a couple of times, and I hope we have him on again in the future. I love the value-based approach. I like to call it conscious ownership. Not merely trying to make money, but really letting your conscience play a role in the kind of money and things you pursue. And Chris Kidd, Jay Peroni, great interview as always. Do want to remind the listener as we wrap up today's show, this show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. Plus, the best content here, including this interview, will be found over there at usdailyreview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. Have a great day. Spend it on this station.